Stevland Judkins was born on May 13, 1950. His mother remarried, so his name became Stevland Morris. But it was Berry Gordy of Motown Records who gave the preteen singer the name Little Stevie Wonder. Stevie was born prematurely, and while still in an incubator, lost his sight. Fearing for his safety, his mother kept him indoors. The radio and music became his companion. By age 9, he had become proficient at the piano, among other instruments. Berry Gordy signed Little Stevie to his Motown label, and in 1963, at the age of 13, Stevie Wonder had a #1 pop and R&B hit with the live recording Fingertips Part 2. His success continued through the late 60s with hits like Uptight and I Was Made to Love Her. He began to write for other Motown artists, including penning the hit Tears of a Clown for Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. In 1970, Stevie married a former Motown secretary, Sarita Wright, who partnered with him writing and doing production on the album Where I'm Coming From. In turn, Stevie produced Sarita's self-titled album, but within 2 years, the couple divorced. Stevie left Motown in the early 70s once his contract expired because he wanted more control over his music. In 1972, having recorded 2 albums on his own, he returned to the label with full creative control and the rights to his own songs, the first time Motown had ever done either.
I mean, in some ways, the legacy was that he stood up for that creativity and fought against his label, Motown Records, that had created him and created the sound of young America, the sound of black pop music. Moving into the 1970s, Stevie said, I need to do what I need to do. Motown has been great getting me this far. There are other things I need to accomplish.
What came next were albums that redefined what music could be and what many consider to be Stevie Wonder's classic period. Albums such as Music of My Mind, Talking Book, Innervisions, and Songs in the Key of Life.
When he made Music of My Mind, that's what he was doing. He was able to capture something that he heard in his head that nobody else was going to be able to capture in quite the same way. But, you know, I think that the release of the Songs in the Key of Life record is a really pivotal moment in music.
In 1973, while on tour, Stevie was in a car accident that left him in a coma for several days. Within a year, however, he was back on tour and enjoying the success of the hit album Innervisions, which featured the chart topper Living for the City. Stevie's success built through the rest of the 70s and the decades that followed, with many commercial and popular recordings. Throughout his music and his personal life, Stevie Wonder has been an activist for civil rights, but he was able to make an indelible mark by taking on the cause of making Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday in the United States. Ronald Reagan signed it into law in 1983. And the first official Martin Luther King Day in 1986 was commemorated with a concert where Wonder sang his hit single, Happy Birthday.
When the book on the civil rights movement is written, Stevie Wonder will have an entry. When he stood up and said Martin Luther King's birthday should be a national holiday and put that into a song that we could dance to, I remember going back to Washington and people who didn't care 2 cents about politics all of a sudden were saying, hey man, you know, Martin Luther King, man, you know, it should be a holiday, man.
Stevie Wonder has won a record-breaking 22 Grammys in his career. He is the youngest person to be honored by the Kennedy Center, and he was the first blind recipient of the Academy Award in 1985 when he won for Best Song from the soundtrack of The Woman in Red with I Just Called to Say I Love You. In his acceptance speech, he dedicated it to Nelson Mandela. Stevie has 7 children, including Aisha, who was the inspiration for Isn't She Lovely? In 2001, he was married to Kai Milla Morris. Their second son, Mandla, was born on Stevie's 55th birthday. On August 28, 2008, at the Democratic National Convention in Denver, Colorado, 45 years after Martin Luther King gave his I Have a Dream speech, and on the day that Barack Obama accepted the nomination for President of the United States, Stevie Wonder performed, among other songs, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours.
And I think his legacy as one who took control of his artistry is much more important than any of the single hits or any clusters of hits. The fact that he had the courage to do it and then to follow through with music that was much more rich in its meaning and still could make you dance but make you think things over too. I think that's the legacy.